I just want it to be an experience. Like if I were in the audience, what I would love to hear and be a part of, musically and visually. Hi, I'm Andy Akiho, and I'm a classical composer and steel panist. It's got all these tabs sticking out, and the tabs made different pitches.
A lot of his music has a very visual aspect to it, but not in a gimmicky way. He brings fun to classical music. He brings excitement. He brings something new. When you hear Andy's music, you're like, oh my God, that was the spectacle of the show. And people will talk about it, after the show. That is rare for modern composers.
This project's been amazing. I got to really work with the Omaha Symphony. The sculptures is really like 9 separate pieces in this suite that's honoring June Kaneko, the amazing visual artist. Ree and June live in Omaha.
I want my sculpture to shake the air around them, to stand just like they should be there.
I started writing a symphony inspired by these sculptures. And then it developed, me starting to tap on them a little bit, and then it eventually became like me playing on these things and creating instruments. And June Kaneko playing them too, got him to hit a couple. It's just been inspiring to make music out of these things. It feels like they were made to sing. It's like they want to speak, and it was fun bringing that out. Kind of just like without a chord too, though. We'll do both. We'll record both. When I'm improvising for ideas for a new piece, if it's inspiring enough for me to be excited about, then I'll really push that idea. Let's do one, just the first chord. Yeah, let's do that. Or rework that idea and change it up, dress it up. It's just 3, so 4, the major 7, and then that crunch. I've probably thrown away 99% of the things I experimented with. I'm gonna try one where I roll the last roll, just to have a different version. Even if I'm just improvising with the sculptures, I can come up with something, but then to really sculpt it into a through composed narrative, I did that over several months. I mean, is that cool? All right. When I'm writing, I like to get to know the person so I feel the energy. I can almost picture them performing it. It's very intuitive. I'm just trying to tell the story from the experience of working with them. Some of my favorite places where my compositions have been performed is at the Kennedy Center and Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center.
Meet Andy Akiho, one of today's most in-demand composers.
It was a cool experience to include the different steel bands I started out with who really inspired me to grow as a musician. So that was my whole life in New York for several years. A A lot of it's a mystery to me. I don't have a specific way I compose every time. And that's good and bad. I think it can be fun for innovation and creativity, but then it can be a challenge to make sure I'm efficient enough in getting the work done in time. I'll work in bars and clubs and coffee shops. I like the urban lifestyle more. If I get stuck on something mentally, I like to be in another place where I'm hearing a lot of people. There's some kind of energy in the room when there's more people around. I want like cars driving by, I want the sound of the city. It really helps me. I'm always working up to the wire, and the deadline is painful sometimes.
I've seen Andy stay up 3-4 nights in a row.
If I'm working with the pen and the keyboard, I'll have a pillow there and I'll just work until I can't move anymore, and then I might fall asleep for an hour or something. But a lot of times when I'm in the zone, there's no way I can fall asleep.
Sometimes he'll go a couple days without food. I have to remind him to drink water and eat. When he does eat, though, he can out-eat anyone because he's burning so many calories in his brain when he's composing. He doesn't compromise based on deadlines. So sometimes he'll be working on something and I'll just be like, man, that sounds pretty good. Let's just go with that. And he'll be like, no, it's not right. It's not right. And then he'll spend sometimes an entire night on 1 or 2 measures of music. And then the next night he'll write like 10 pages.
That's me and my sister. I got into music from my sister Kay. She was a rock drummer in high school. She got me into drums when I was about 8 or 9 years old. This is me, these 3. And then I got into drumline. And then I got into steel pan in college. I was very fortunate to go to Trinidad in 2002 and 2003. See, this is how important steel pan is for the culture in Trinidad. It's on the money. I got to play with the steel orchestras down there, playing with a full steel orchestra, sometimes up to 160 members. It was just an inspiring experience working with the big bands and having the energy, doing it all by rote. There was no sheet music. Everybody's there till the middle of the night. A lot of fun. And that's definitely influenced a lot of my compositions throughout the years. It's just been a journey. I just like all kinds of music. I love it all. Classic rock and hip hop and rap, jazz and fusion, Caribbean music. Later in life, I got more into classical music and contemporary classical music. So every time I rearrange them, it would come up with different material. So I gotta be like decisive and figure out an arrangement. These are very special chopsticks. Or I find these a lot in Vietnamese restaurants, but I can't find them this heavy anymore. The weight of these feel good. They sound great on pan. And that was my manager's idea, to have a conversation with Olympic ping pong players and orchestra. And I thought it was ludicrous at first. And then I was excited about the challenge of it and trying to make a fun piece. I wanted to make something that made sense musically and not just exploit the novelty of this idea. I wanted to try to make something that was meaningful and that was fun for the audience and the musicians.
everyone is just happy, from kids all the way up to grandparents. His overall joy and love for what he's doing, that's the most important thing. And he just wants to share it with people. I think people can really feel that.
I'm always grateful for when I can share a new experience with the collaborators and with the audience. That's something I've always dreamed of, you know.
Oregon Artbeat shares the stories of Oregon's amazing artists, and member support completes the picture. Join us as a sustaining member at opb.org/video.